Chapter 12 Lightning Force, Lightning Strike. Speaking of which, Shu Bing, aren't your preferences a bit too much? This girl does indeed look good. However, being able to do that is a bit hard to say. I think so, too. In this all-girls school, there are numerous pretty girls. The people are dumb, but they have money. Just threaten them a bit, and they'll cave in. Why would you go through so much trouble for just this one girl? What do you know? It's called having good taste. Shu Bing viciously glared at the group of people. While he was starting to feel dissatisfied with the terrible taste of this group of boys, Shu Bing raised his head and saw a young man wearing a black t-shirt, walking toward the pavilion with a cold aura surrounding him. This guy seems familiar. Crap, speak of the devil. Isn't this the brother next door to the girl? This guy, I've been wanting to deal with him for the longest time for obstructing me from trying to hit on this girl. Who would have thought that you'd come to me by yourself? It just happens that there are quite a few of my brothers here today. We'll just let you have a taste of getting beaten, and we'll see if you dare to stand up again in the future. Brothers, grab your weapons. Shu Bing stood, his gaze interlocked with Mo Fan's cold eyes. The man with cowboy adornment, the young man with a cigarette hanging from his mouth, the man with the headphones, and the man wearing the jacket immediately stood up as they all looked to their side. Bro, we didn't bring weapons. The cigarette man moved closer to Shu Bing's ear as he faintly whispered. What the heck? Do you need weapons to deal with this thing? Beat him up real good. Per the instruction of Brother Zhao Kunsen, if we beat him up then it's on him. Shu Bing slapped the talkative brothers on their forehead with his palm as he responded, enraged. The man with the cigarette felt wronged. You were the one who said to grab the weapons. It seems like it's just a wordplay. Since it's something Brother Zhao Kunsen has instructed before, the man with the jacket removed his jacket as he chuckled, revealing his white tank top and bustling muscles. Mo Fan looked attentively at the 5 trash from Azura Bear Gang with a gaze that felt as though he was looking at a domesticated animal. HMPH, kid, let's put it like this. My interest in a girl like your sister is practically the luckiest thing in her life. Do you think anyone else is like me, Shu Bing, who doesn't care that she's a cripple? There's no reason for a cripple to act like a goddess. If there's anyone who wants her, then you should burn the money and thank Buddha. Shu Bing pointed at Mo Fan as he revealed his true intentions. Shu Bing's patience had run out after all these years. Look at me, Shu Bing. I have the looks and the strength. Within the Guangxi district, he was quite the character. If Yi Xinxia were to follow me, she would be able to live well whether she has it good or bad, and she'd always have minions at her service. The point is, learn to appreciate favors. Now, obediently call me brother-in-law. Seeing how we're going to be a family, we will be gentle with you. This way, we can tell Zhao Kunsen and Mu Bai we beat you up. If you're still resisting, then we'll break your legs so you can be a cripple along with your sister, the muscular man with a white tank top commanded. After hearing this, Mo Fan's chest began heaving violently. He glanced at the pavilion. In the middle of the pavilion, there was a lone wheelchair with poker cards on top of the seat. Originally, Mo Fan was extremely angry from seeing these drags using Yi Xinxia's wheelchair as a table for playing poker. However, now that he had heard these humiliating insults from Shu Bing, Mo Fan felt as though his chest was about to explode. A cripple? A cripple? I, Mo Fan, have pledged a vow. If someone were to ever say this kind of stuff to Yi Xinxia, then I will make sure they will regret being reincarnated as a human. Stop wasting time with this kid. Go beat him up. I, alone, am enough to deal with him, brothers. You just stand to the side and watch. The muscular man in a white tank top began cracking his fist. Mo Fan looked at them with extremely icy eyes. However, as they were messing around here, they didn't notice one thing. He was forging a vicious, purple-colored lightning path within his eyes. The star path contained a tremendous lightning force that was about to erupt like a volcano under Mo Fan's rage. Do you really think I'm still the same Mo Fan who you can take advantage of? A restless force began to tremble in the atmosphere around Mo Fan. It was like fully armed soldiers who were waiting for the commands from their general. You, who isn't even on the same level as a domesticated animal, are just in time to taste the flavor of lightning. The moment the angry voice transmitted from his throat, the 7 stars formed and became a star path, causing the power from the lightning star dust to gather within Mo Fan's right arm. BZZT. An astonishing arc of lightning sparked across Mo Fan's body like a python. In the next second, the restless lightning in the atmosphere began to assemble within Mo Fan's right arm, emitting an ear-piercing noise. Heavens! What is that? Why is there lightning crackling around his body? This kid! Heavens, he's a mage! Among these people, Xu Bing was the one who had seen the most of the outside world. Mage was said with certainty. This group was certainly famous ruffians within the Guangxi district, and yet, ruffians still relied on punches and kicks. In front of a real magician, they weren't even enough to be called dregs. How could he be a mage? Xu Bing and the group of people were exceedingly scared by the incredibly shocking scene in front of them. In their perspective, if one could leave a mark after punching a tree, then one would have an incredible existence within the ruffians. However, they have never met someone whose body was enshrouded by crackling lightning arcs. Everything within the circumference of a few meters looked just like a destroyed high-voltage area. Incorporeal power pressured them, causing their entire bodies to feel numb. Lightning force, lightning strike. All the invocations were complete. This time, Mo Fan was genuinely using the primary rank skill, lightning strike. He suddenly raised his arm with his palm, facing the sky. All the trembling lightning arcs in the surroundings emitted a sharp sound. They were just like a group of elemental warriors in purple-colored armor who had just received a command as they suddenly unsheathed their weapons. Annihilate them! With the unfathomable rage, Mo Fan relied on a feeling to control the lightning force that heeded his commands. He ferociously gripped his fist. An arc-like lightning element emerged and shot toward Xu Bing, who was standing at the very front, as well as towards the muscular man's location. The lightning arc came forth from the high altitude. Every strike was like a whip filled with immense power, whipping Xu Bing and the muscular man to the floor. While at the same time, it left behind strands of marks as it continued to whip them on the floor. Peeshed! Xu Bing, as well as the muscular man, was beaten down to the floor. Just a while ago, they were still putting on airs, but now, in the moment the lightning strike fell on them, flesh lacerated from their back, skin burning to a crisp. Chapter 13 First Taste of Magic. In the pavilion, on the hill, there was an unimaginable purple energy flashing magnificently before it quickly disappeared into nothing. There was a scorched smell pervading the air. There was even some charring on the plants in the surroundings. There were two people lying on the ground. They were acutely twitching. Their appearances were too horrible to look at. The insufferably arrogant attitude of the Guangxi district's ruffians was nowhere to be seen. The other three people were thoroughly scared. Big brother Mo Fan. Seeing as how we grew up in the same district, could you spare us? We will never do this again. The man with the cigarette had been so scared that his soul had dispersed. In his eyes, the 16-year-old youth in front of him was even scarier than the demons in his nightmares. You are an honorable mage. You don't need to lower yourself to the same level as dregs like us. I beg of you, don't do anything to us. The man in cowboy adornment said with a trembling voice. Seeing the appearances of Xu Bing and the muscular man, it was just too terrifying. The whiff of rage, accompanied by the completely released lightning strike, was slowly settling down to the bottom of Mo Fan's heart. He looked at the miserable Xu Bing and the muscular man and glanced at the other three people who were completely terrified. Take them to the hospital, Mo Fan said as he calmed down. The truth was, even Mo Fan couldn't imagine that the primary rank skill of the lightning element, lightning strike, would have such immense might. This was my first time actually activating it. If I can become even more proficient at it and be able to increase my accuracy in controlling it, I won't waste a single bit of that scattered energy during the activation. I'm afraid the perfected lightning strike would directly cause the 5 people to die from the explosion. So far, so good, however, there were no casualties out of this, or else things would become complicated. Yes. We'll go now. The cowboy looked at this young mage's rage settling down. He acted as if he had obtained a new life. The other two didn't dare to think too much about it. They hurriedly supported the 2 paralyzed people on the ground. The result was, as soon as they touched the 2 men, the remaining lightning arcs transmitted into their arms from the bodies, causing them to tremble in fear. Call an ambulance. You'll handle the medical fees yourselves, Mo Fan said indifferently. I'll call them now. Mo Fan's rage had already dispersed. In fact, his mind still had some enthusiasm which was hard to conceal. Right now, Mo Fan was like a god-killing existence for them. How could he display his extremely joyful appearance to these fools? After walking to the inside of the pavilion, Mo Fan swept away the cards from the wheelchair. He picked up the wheelchair and followed the stairs back down. These three people were still looking at Mo Fan with fear lingering in their hearts. Suddenly, Mo Fan spun around. The three people were scared and hastily took a step back. Oh right, if someone were to ask, tell them that these two tried to steal electricity. If you dare to spread the matter of me being a mage, I'll have you shut up forever. Either way, I heard the police won't make it difficult for a mage who accidentally kills someone, especially the dregs of society who provoked a mage. Mo Fan thought of it and turned around to warn these people. The three people nodded their head as though they were pounding garlic. They couldn't be more obedient. Regarding Zhao Kunsen and Mu Bai, with your IQ, I believe you know what to say, right? Mo Fan said as he left in a carefree manner. We didn't see you. You're smart. I'll think of the matter as done, this time. If there's anything in the future, you can come and find me. You've seen my abilities already. Yes. Big brother Mo Fan, take care. The three bent over as they nodded their head with fear and reverence. Mo Fan nodded as he picked up the wheelchair and left. First, you need to ruthlessly beat them up. Then you give them a little bit of benefit. Mo Fan believed these lads wouldn't dare be rash, and believed they wouldn't spread the word of this matter to the outside. On one side, he has become a lightning element magician that was able to activate his skills. On the other side, it was the apprentice-level Mu Bai. I believe these guys understand how to stand for themselves. However, Mo Fan was already clear on the fact that these five people were just lackeys for Mu Bai and Zhao Kunsen. When the time comes, I'll still pay those two bastards back what they deserve. Following the stone steps downwards, Mo Fan finally couldn't help but to laugh out loud. A few years ago, he was just a normal student in a classroom who would occasionally look at the world outside of the window, due to the dullness from the history class. Occasionally, he would also daydream about suddenly being faced with a gust of wind and flying upwards, his foot lightly treading on the flagpole, soaring through the blue sky and the distant back mountain of the school. He imagined encountering a brute that could cause himself to be thoroughly enraged. When he met fiends and numerous villains, his hands were able to congregate a special force that could directly defeat them. Who would have thought that he was able to have a small taste of this today? With the lightning force in his hands, the five ruffians who used to bully him became like stray dogs. This has never happened before, and the feeling was fantastic. It was like a dream. Lightning element, lightning strike is indeed impressive. I wonder what kind of power the fire element's primary rank skill, Flame Burst, holds. There's still half a year before the annual magic examination. I should have enough time to grasp the fire element's primary rank skill, Fire Burst. Mo Fan got excited. The lightning element's primary rank skill, Lightning Strike, was indeed ferocious. I wonder how the other elements' skills are. Moreover, Mo Fan knew that the primary rank skills are the lowest type of magic. After the primary, there's also intermediate and high rank. Right. The wind element teacher did mention it during the first class. The wind element's high rank skill, Wind Wings, gives you the ability to soar through the sky. Damn, if I'm able to learn Wind Wings, then I'd be able to go anywhere. After a long while, Mo Fan was still having difficulties holding down his excitement. His mind was incessantly processing the magic knowledge he learned. He wanted to know what other heaven-defying skills the mages could be in possession of. On the still swing was the long-haired, perfectly straight-nosed young girl with her head slightly turned upwards. She was carefully observing the pavilion whose view was blocked by trees. The purple ray just now. Yi Xinxia murmured to herself. She saw a magnificent purple-colored light, like a remnant of a shooting star, flashing by the pavilion. Although it quickly dissipated, it was still an astonishing scene that left a mark in people's hearts. Is it a mage? Yi Xinxia thought to herself. She had a really hard time imagining that there'd be a mage in a city area this small. However, why would a mage appear in the same location as Mo Fan and the group of ruffians, and they even used genuine magic? Is Big Brother Mo Fan alright? At this moment, Yi Xinxia was feeling nervous. She subconsciously bit the side of her lip. At last, the familiar figure appeared on the small, stone staircase. He was carrying her wheelchair, and his face had a trace of a silly smile.